What happened in Israel on Saturday clearly came as a shock to many Israelis, to the Israeli government. Indeed, it came as a shock to much of the world because we've known that tensions have been simmering in that region in Al-Aqsa Mosque for some time, but nobody really saw this coming. Even people who've been following the region and its politics closely, even they have called it unprecedented and unexpected. What Hamas did was they launched this multi-pronged attack in southern Israel. They went on a killing rampage. They've killed hundreds of people. Not all of them are military personnel. They've abducted dozens of them and taken them back to Gaza. And now they are being held hostage. Now, Hamas, for those who may not be aware, controls Gaza. It has been controlling Gaza for many years now. It is the de facto government. It is a militant organization. It has a military wing, but it also has a political wing. And it has obviously been strongly critical of Israel. It believes Israel is an occupier. And for them, the issue of Al-Aqsa Mosque and Israel trying to occupy it on some pretext has been a very sensitive issue. And they have previously warned that if attempts are made for Jewish extremists to take over Aqsa Mosque, to lay claim to it, it will lead to bloodbath. And that is precisely what seems to have happened. So over the last 2 to 3 days, we have seen more details are coming out. Israel has retaliated. It has killed hundreds of Palestinians in Gaza. It is preparing a ground offensive. It has called for army reserves to come out in hundreds of thousands. Israel, as you might know, requires its young people to enlist in army and serve for a number of years. And so many of the Israeli soldiers who've been abducted by Hamas are actually very young people, men and women. They're often they often look like high school children. And when I went to Israel many years ago, I encountered them, I spoke to them, and it was very clear to me that they didn't really know much about what is happening around them. They were only following orders. And that's the kind of national security state Israel is. Now, the world reaction, as expected, the US has come out very strongly in favor of Israel. Britain has done the same. Germany has gone out of its way. Now, these countries almost have a knee-jerk reaction every time there's an attack in Israel. They have no option but to express solidarity because of the long history of supporting Israel. Even when Israel was attacking Palestinians, the settlers were reclaiming more and more land. Israel was committing abuses, human rights violations, allegations of genocide coming up. These countries have been fully behind Israel. Now, we have to remember that the American administration has been frustrated with the government of the Prime Minister Netanyahu because of right-wing extreme elements in his government and because of some announcements they've made about trying to force Palestinians to emigrate out of the West Bank and to basically deny them their rights. But this situation has changed a lot of things. The US has already moved one of its massive aircrafts in Eastern Mediterranean as a clear signal to other players in the region not to get involved, not to come to Hamas's rescue, not to support. Namely, the messages for Iran and for Syria, for Hezbollah militant group in Lebanon, in southern Lebanon, to not get involved. So this looks like it is a war. I mean, Israel has already declared it a war on Hamas, but in effect, a war on Palestinians in Gaza. Everybody's saying the ground invasion is most likely. But the bigger question is what happens next? Israel has tried to do this before, and it had to pull out of Gaza. Gaza is a densely populated area of more than 2 million Palestinians. Israel has now announced a blockade. Their electricity has been cut. Their supplies have been cut. There are food shortages there. How can you starve or lay siege to so many people in such small space? They've been warned to evacuate, to flee, because Israel is planning a massive attacks. But where should they go? There's nowhere to go. The border crossing with Egypt has been shut down, and they are basically effectively. That's why it's been called one of the largest living jail in the world, where people are stuck together. They can't go anywhere. They can get no help. So we know that the Western countries have come out openly in support of Israel. Now, where does Hamas, for example, draw its support from? Well, Qatar has been supporting Hamas. They would say they're supporting people in Gaza, and it's a humanitarian aid, but it all obviously goes through Hamas because they control the region. Similarly, Hezbollah has made some noises that if need be, they will launch attacks on Israel from the north. They have fired rockets, but they haven't declared war yet. Iran has come out openly saying that they will support Hamas, and previously they have supported militarily Hamas. But that support is nothing compared to the solidarity and support that Israel is getting from the most powerful countries on earth. Britain is already deploying its intelligence agency MI6 to help trace Hamas militants. As I said, America is moving its gunship aircrafts near Israel. So Israel is getting way more help and support, it always has, compared to Palestinians or Hamas.